Hey guys, welcome back to LS Vintage Design. How is everyone doing? I hope you're having an amazing day. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and if you've been here a while, thank you. You are super appreciated. If you haven't had a chance yet, be sure and check out our Etsy shop and our website. Both are linked down below, as well as our Instagram account and our Facebook page. We are everywhere, always willing to share finds, videos, and everything else vintage. We have a lot of exciting things coming up this year. We are starting to advertise our vintage tea parties for the spring and summer, especially for family get-togethers, just fun girls' days, or for those very important bridal or baby showers, or asking those special women in your life to be your bridesmaids. We offer a lot of different services. We also do vintage interior decorating. Come in and we help you add that special pop of vintage into your space, office, or travel trailer. So be sure and check out our website. We do so much more than just videos or sell vintage. Today we are talking vintage wall art, and we're talking multiple different kinds of vintage wall art, specifically from the period of the 50s, 60s, and mid-century modern. What we're going to talk about, one, are the different types, and two, how you can clean them, because a lot of times when you find these pieces, they are so dirty that everybody just kind of passes them by unless somebody like a reseller comes along, finds them, cleans them, and then puts them for sale. And then a lot of times they are priced way too much. So, in fact, that's how I learned to do this, because every time I would find some mid-century modern wall art that I loved, it had been cleaned by the reseller and I could not afford it. Let's just jump in. And we're going to start with the least expensive to the most expensive. And none of them, by the way, are expensive to do. First, we'll start with a chalkware or plaster, depending on who made it and where you find it at. This piece, and a lot of pieces that are very similar to this, are from the Miller Studio Inc. and circa copyright 1969. These are chalkware. And you might see the fish more with the bubbles. You might see seahorses, mermaids. There was all different ones created. These are cranes. They're very beautiful. They have the signature pink and blue from the 50 coloring. Because even though it says 1969, keep in mind that that period lasted from the mid-50s through the 60s. And then in the 70s, late 60s, 70s, late 60s, you start seeing it, early 70s, mid 70s. Late 70s was the avocado greens, the oranges, the golds, browns, those colors. And then the 80s were all about the neon. I guess you didn't know you could define decades by color, did you? In fact, we might do a video on that. But anyway, there are a pair of these. They hang in the bathroom, but of course these could go in a bedroom or wherever, a kitchen, a living room, whatever. I just happen to have them in my bathroom. To clean it, I need to dust it, but you just take a wet rag with maybe a little Dawn dish soap on it and wash it, and then make sure you dry it. Don't ever soak them heavily, and don't use anything too harsh or abrasive on them. Next, we'll talk about the brass. I have some of this, not the ducks, but I have some butterflies for sale in my Etsy shop. I don't clean, polish, or anything. That keeps your pricing down. But the ducks are a set of 3. They were wiped with a damp cloth and then again dried. You could go in and polish them with a brass cleaner if you wanted to. Totally up to you. I just clean them again with very gentle half water, a little bit Dawn dish soap, and that was it. Dried them thoroughly and left them at that. And they look really good. I hit them with a soft microfiber cloth to dust them, or one of the little feather dusters. I'm very simple. And they are very easy to take care of once you get the years of grime off. Of course, you're going to have discoloration and marks on anything vintage. They are not going to be perfect. And that's okay, because that's part of the vintage charm, right? Now the next piece is larger. My husband and I found the actual piece with the cat on it. It didn't have a frame on it anymore. And these are the pieces that really sadly go into the trash because people don't know what to do with them. We simply made a type of frame. We use hooks to hold the cat in place. And it's very simple. And this could be done for any number of types of art pieces that maybe you find that are not complete as far as frames, backings, that kind of thing. Now, to clean this is on a very delicate, it feels like it's not a board, it's like a fabric almost, or a oilcloth, something like that. This was very, very dirty when we found it. So what I did was I took, again, my water, a little bit of Dawn dish soap, and a toothbrush, and a soft bristle toothbrush, and very gently scrubbed. I would wipe off with a rag with just plain clean water, damp, not soaking, and then I would dry it and then do it bit by bit, slowly around. Now, cleaning the pebble art, which this is a pebble art cat, it couldn't be done really because you couldn't rub the pebbles, they fall off. They were put on by housewives in the 1950s. I don't know how many of you know that, but pebble art was actually a craft back in the 50s, and housewives would do this to create art for their home and display them in their home. It would come with a frame and everything. But cleaning the actual pebbles is hard. I didn't care. I love the cat. I love the charm. If it is a little aged and a little, not the cleanest, it's fine. I did pat it with a very lightly damped cloth, just very gently patted, again, not rubbed, to soak up a lot of the dirt, which I did. So I guess it is clean. It's just not as clean as the backing that I could use the toothbrush on. Something else you could do would be use a soft bristle brush and scrub, and use a vacuum cleaner to pull up any dirt depending on the type of surface. If it's a fabric backing or a burlap or something like that that could catch, again, you want to be super careful on how you go about it. And I always recommend, first and foremost, if you're unsure, to use a very soft cloth like an old t-shirt or a microfiber cloth. Get it just damp. Dip it into a little water mixed with just a tad of Dawn. Again, squeeze till it's just damp, blot, and then come damp, clean rag, blot, and then let air dry, which is what I did with this as well. Now, I did the same method with a vintage round frame I had at the time. It was very dirty. Again, a toothbrush, just a little bit of dampness with the Dawn dish soap on it, cleaned in, then different toothbrush, all soft bristled, dipped in clear water. Again, just damp, not dripping wet. Cleaned off that the soapy water, then went in either with a flour sack, towel, or an old t-shirt, dried it, and then let it air dry as well. Nothing gets soaking wet. You don't ever submerge anything or, use anything harsh. You don't want to use anything that would strip away old paint or tear up fabric. So guys, that is just a quick little lesson in how you can clean vintage wall art. And it doesn't have to be mid-century modern. It can be any decade. It's all the same. Now, as far as old paintings go, I would suggest, if a soft bristle brush, just run it gently over the painting and then vacuum it up. If that doesn't dislodge it, check into getting it professionally cleaned unless you're real adventurous, and then go in with a soft bristle brush, just damp, not wet, or a soft cloth, again damp, not wet, with a little water and a very mild cleaner. In the case of art, I would use like an olive oil soap, very, very gentle, or Dawn dish soap. Again, and repeat with clean water and a soft rag that's damp, not wet. Blotting, never rubbing. Never use stringents because you could definitely pick up the painting, and you don't want to do that, you know. Same thing with old photographs. They can get tacky. So the best thing for old photographs is having them restored by a professional. And again, I recommend that for art, but if you are adventurous. Thanks for being here today, guys. Don't forget, check out our website, check out our Etsy shop. We'll be back in our series redecorating with vintage and non-vintage, but with a vintage look to it, or repop. So come back for our redecorating on a budget. I will see you later. Bye bye.